Will this Super Bowl be more about how Patrick Mahomes or Brock Purdy plays?
I think it's going to come down to Purdy.
But
because for the simple fact, I don't think...
every your mention.
Atmosphere TV is a free streaming service mainly targeting businesses.
The premier digital out-of-home connected TV platform.
We're in 65,000 unique businesses across every single major media DMA in this country. Reach 131 million US adults on a monthly basis. It's about 51% of the population.
Our stuff is short form, audio optional, and improves the atmosphere.
Watching a traditional network or any channel on mute in public space is a bad experience.
If you're in a bar, you can't have content that relies on audio.
Trying to just make it a more fun environment for your patrons.
What is Atmosphere Sports?
So Atmosphere Sports is a 24/7 streaming sports network optimized and built for the out-of-home experience. So no talent, no anchors, no people talking to you, and no sound.
Atmosphere Sports is everything that you want it to be. It's the sports highlight show that you missed from the early 90s. No talk shows in which people are just blathering on for 30 minutes about the same exact thing. We give people what they want.
What we do is ultimately point a virtual camera at a headless website, right? And capture that content in order to allow us to overlay the L bar and the ticker, which is really just HTML running in a browser.
If you look at what goes into creating a sports broadcast and the amount of people that you would need to be able to deliver not just that quality of a stream, but that cut and those different angles. And we're basically saying create that, but do it with like a third of the staff.
We built an in-house kind of virtual studio room where we can do some live things mixed with some pre-programmed things where we can switch between feeds based on human intervention, but then also have pre-programmed stories and things that come in and overlays and graphics that overlay that. I think that stuff is pretty powerful. We have one editor who's eating lunch at his kitchen, managing a handful of really cool live programming to millions of people.
This is an opportunity for us to completely reshape workflows and old mindsets and start thinking about how to create television in the cloud in a dynamic way with dynamically rendered graphics, with smaller teams, with more nimble folks, and do it in such a way that it's better than what's on television today.
We're leveraging production quality technologies and rejiggering it so that it works for our needs. The Tesla example with Ford, where Ford is built on all of this technology that's already been put in place, so it's harder to pivot, it's harder to innovate, whereas we're younger and scrappier and new.
A lot of the technologies out there are formatted either for like truly live content where you actually have people doing live editing, or fully VOD content that's fully produced ahead of time. And so we're kind of a hybrid where we pre-editorialize the things, but then render it in real time with real-time information and video sources. Getting that to work just right is tricky.
Where our engineering and technology have really shined, where they have built this content management system pretty much from scratch with a little bit of direction from us that will essentially function as playouts.
We have an in-house tool called DCS, Dynamic Content System. And what we do is we have really close relationships with AWS, and we pretty much use like their existing like Legos to put together. And we made the system that is able to do like live channels, like linear channels. That tool is something that our in-house content team uses every day.
We kind of go to them and say, here's what we need something to do. And they figure out how to build whatever tools we need and how to make those tools super efficient. We need to be bringing in highlights from all kinds of different leagues, taking a lot of different things and putting them into this bottleneck and spitting out this sports channel that has to work, that has to have low latency, that can't buffer too much, that has to have the same experience that you would have on a cable network.
That enables us to, struggle through some of the hard things that we're maybe reinventing the wheel, but also there's no inertia of old things that we drag along with us. It's completely from the ground up, cloud first.
So if we need to pivot, we can pivot. In a way, it's very cost efficient too. We're not tied down to like, major like hardware. It's just engineers who can build something. If something crashes, we can rebuild it again. So it's very light.
The interesting part about how we do it is it's actually a vertically integrated solution, right? So we control the hardware that's installed on site, as well as the production and delivery software that exists out in the cloud, right? And that allows us to do some really innovative things because we control the entire stack.
We're focused on providing a second screen experience that allows viewers to be in the game at all times.
With the amount of information that we're giving you that is relevant to the game that you're watching and relevant to all the other games that might be going on, that either maybe the venue that you're in doesn't have them up or you just can't see them. We want to give you the experience that's next to that game, that you can have all that information, you can be entertained.
Let's say we're creating a scoreboard for a game. We can make that scoreboard react differently if it's pre-game, during the game, after the game. So we can have a scoreboard automatically switch from betting odds before the game to showing you stats and line scores during the game, and to finally spit out a box score once the game is over without needing people to manually flick controls.
The idea around how we're producing sports and how we're delivering it, we can't show the live event, or we don't have the live event, we don't have audio. Like the challenges that we're overcoming in particular on sports, I think makes it a really dynamic and exciting vertical.
Whenever I check in, there's always something new. And that's what I love about like top like apps and stuff too, like Instagram. There's always like, oh, there's like, I noticed like there's something new about it, right? And I think that's what makes you come back to it and like you pay attention to it. And like that's really fun. And I love that like atmosphere of sports, like there's always something new. And I think at this rate, I'm like, okay, what else are we gonna do?
At the end product, it looks the same and it looks as good, and it's automated and it's cheaper and it's done with less people, and it gives us more time to add to it and innovate and create new things.
We used to be like the underdogs, and I feel like how fast we're innovating, we can do so much more than like industry standard. So that's exciting.
That's the power of what we've built with Atmosphere and Atmosphere Sports, is completely rethinking television as a whole, rebuilding the ecosystem in such a way that it makes sense, and then delivering a superior product.